Hello, everybody. This is the Chocolate News Podcast. I'm your co-host, John Alexander Reese. And if you didn't know, the Cincinnati Herald has been around since 1955 and is the leading African-American owned newspaper in the greater Cincinnati area and northern Kentucky area. And today we have with us our digital correspondent, Andria Carter. How's it going, Andria?
Fine, John. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. So, Andria, what's the chocolate news of the week?
Well, I'm going to start out. This digital correspondent is a little disappointed because my favorite football team, the Bengals, lost the Super Bowl. They played a fantastic game. They only lost by 3 points, what they're known to have won the last few games by 3 points, which I thought was ironic. But I think they did an overwhelmingly good job, though they need to work on offense because Burrows was getting sacked so many times toward the end of the game. And but I think the Rams were getting desperate because they really wanted to win, and they all of a sudden snapped out of whatever thought process they were going through and said, oh, we got to play this game, and then start playing. I think the Bengals should be proud of their season. I'm looking forward to next year. And I'm even contemplating thinking about getting season tickets, even though, I'm a poor Black child and I can't afford season tickets. I'm going to try and figure out how to get a ticket because I want to see them play in person next year. Even if I have to just buy single day tickets every single time, I'm going to do it because I want to see them play and support them. And also think about any new stuff I'm going to get. So.
Well, you know what? I think I will head to at least one game next year because you know what? My Bengals spirit, it's revitalized. So I think I may have to at least go to a game next year. And I thought I would never say that.
I think everyone needs to go to a game next year. I think everyone needs or go to your favorite bar and support them that way next year. I think full Bengals spirit, despite everyone took one day of mourning after the Super Bowl because it was so quiet in Cincinnati. But then, and when the Bengals came home, I think they came home yesterday, there was a crowd rooting for them yesterday. There's a crowd tonight down at Washington Park rooting for them. And I think, even though it was hugely disappointing, I think what they succeeded in doing this season has revived the brand, revived the fan spirit. And I think people are anxious for next football season. I think when they start boot summer camp and they start practicing, I think people are going to be like, what do you think? What do you look? I think we're going to see a year of looking at everything and saying, okay, and they might even, the draft starts in March, April? No, April.
Yeah.
The football draft starts soon. So I think they're going to be looking at everything, trying to break down their philosophy and thinking, because I think we want another winning season next year. So.
Oh, yeah. And it's not like so out of reach anymore. It's like, I feel like, oh, yeah, we can definitely make it to the playoffs next year. And we most likely won't be just one game and out. It's like we can probably get to the finals again and, that sort of thing. I have hope. I have hope for the first time.
I have hope for, I think and all the players did an incredible job. And I think we need to see what nickname they're going to come up with for Joe Burrows. And I don't think Burrows is it. I don't think Joe Cool should be it, but I think it's going to be something. Maybe that might be a contest for us down the road. Think of a good, cool nickname for Joe Burrows going into the next season. We should talk about that.
Oh, yeah,
but I think also we would be remiss, even though I'm saddened over my Bengals, boo-hoo, that halftime show was off the chain.
Yes, that halftime show was fire. Oh my goodness.
And here's my issue. Why were they just talking to the millennials about remember when? I was like, I'm not a millennial, but I enjoyed all of them. At the beginning of I've been around a long time. I'm not a huge rap hip hop fan, but I have my favorites. But that show was off the chain. For once, NFL outdid themselves. I think number one, they showed what a well-produced halftime show can be.
Yes.
I think Dr. Dre pulled it off. I think Dr. Dre should be in charge of productions every year because it was good.
It was excellent. And just, because I was looking at some, behind the scene videos too. just seeing how they like set it up, when the cameras weren't rolling, like during the commercials and stuff. I saw how they were setting it up, and it was like very efficient. It's like very elaborate. I was very impressed with the production design. It was just everything just came together perfectly. It was quite a sight to see.
It did, and I think the dances were excellent. But I remember at the Super Bowl party that I attended when Mary J. Blige came out and sang "No More, No More Drama." All the ladies at my Super Bowl party just stood up and cheered.
Mm.
That is the anthem for women, and we were like, yes. So I think overall, NFL has not resolved their issues.
Right.
But I think the NFL took its first step in the right direction, but they still have a long, long way to go. And I think anyone still thinking about boycotting the NFL, well, I think the NFL will take another step in the right direction if they hire Colin Kaepernick.
Well, you know what? Speaking of that, the thing that shocked me the most was Eminem. After he was done with his song, he kneeled in support of Kaepernick. I'm just like, wow, I was not expecting that. But good on you, man. Good on you.
It was, I was like, of course. I was like, yeah, okay. All right. Solidarity, It goes, like I said before, silent majority. You never know who's thinking what. And I think what was done during that halftime show was incredible. But I think also the NFL has to swallow their pride. The football is not just rock and roll and country.
Right.
Football is everything to everybody. So they need to reflect that. Diversity is key. Equitable is key. And I think they need to step up next in management.
Yeah.
So,
but I want to say one thing though, because I was walking on the strip during the halftime show, just watching the halftime show on the TVs and stuff. And I was also going through my social media, and 50 Cent was there, which I was not expecting. But I was just looking, it's like, why is 50 Cent hanging upside down? I'm just like,
I didn't get that part.
Well, that was from his music video in the club. It's like he was hanging down upside down and said, and started rapping and stuff. So that's why he was hanging upside down, because that's how his music video started. And I'm just like, yeah. So I'm just
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. So that's why he was hanging upside down at first.
Okay.
And I'm just like, do these people not know? Am I just getting old, or is this like a reference? Or
well, I mean, again, there were and the good thing is I was watching Twitter, because whenever these big musical events, I always watch Twitter for reaction.
Right.
And what was interesting, there were a lot of people like, yes, 50, yes, Drake, Lamar, just everything. And there was a one lone tweet that just said, certain folks in the stadium are shocked, or in the audience, they're shocked, they don't know what to do. One guy was like, what is this shit? And but what was interesting, it was so small, because I don't think white America realizes how big hip hop plays with the young people in white America.
They don't. Who do you think buys all the albums?
Right.
It's like, certainly not all Black people. A large chunk of that is white people.
And Twitter exploded with, it was a very eclectic mix of reaction from, such a diverse variety of people. It was wonderful to see and read Twitter during this, and how everyone was excited with Dr. Dre, with Snoop Dogg. Then out came Mary J. Blige and Eminem and 50. I mean, 50 Cent just exploded. In fact, my Twitter failed to update. So many people were tweeting at the same time. It was unbelievable. Yeah. And I think that alone speaks to what the expectations of America going forward, the young people, the millennials. I mean, even the last of the, what is my generation?
Your generation X, right?
No.
Oh.
Before that. I'm the last of the baby boomers. I'm the last year of the baby boomers. So technically I'm baby boom generation X.
Gotcha.
Because I'm right on that fence between the two.
Right.
And I think we're hip, we're involved, we know. I mean, my thing is, the only reason why I don't like rap music is because I'm a huge house music fan. I
Right.
love house music, but that's another conversation.
Yeah.
So enough about that. So we just have to look forward to the next big musical thing. I mean, in Cincinnati, the music festival is coming back.
Is it?
They announced it today.
Finally.
Yes, but it's not going to be at Paul Brown Stadium. It is going to be at the Brody Music Center. So I think it's going to be a scaled down version.
Is that the Icon Center?
It's the Icon Center. Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
And it's going to be, but Charlie Wilson, OJ's, and Janet Jackson's going to perform.
I have tickets, and I was just my mom and I have tickets, and we were wondering if it was going to come back this year, and it is. I got to tell her that's great.
It's going to come back, and I don't know the full. I have to look at the see the full lineup, but that's when I heard Janet Jackson, I was like, okay, I have to go.
Yeah,
because I've seen Janet. I've seen Janet in concert twice.
Right.
Once when she was previewing for somebody, I forgot who it was. And then when her Rhythm Nation concert came out, right. I went to that concert. The girl can perform. And then I've seen the concert movies and other stuff on HBO all through the years, all that type of stuff. I've seen her grow and evolve, and what she's doing now is fantastic. So I'm very excited about that. The other chocolate news to get through real quick, the NBA All-Star Game is going to be this weekend. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Definitely. Two things. One, the uniforms that the players are going to wear for the All-Star Game have been designed by kids, both from the East Coast and the West Coast. And the uniforms are supposed to reflect those tastes. So to marry that. Second, for the first time ever, the NBA is going to present an HBCU Classic with Morgan State versus Howard University. And it's being presented by AT&T. The HBCU Classic is going to be Saturday at 2 p.m.
Okay.
As part of the NBA All-Star Game. And it will take place at the Wolstein Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, gotcha. Which I think is wonderful. And they also, the NBA and AT&T are going to donate each $100,000 to each school.
Wow.
To support the student experience. So I think that's fantastic too. So everyone get ready for a good matchup this weekend coming up for that. And then the All-Star Game, we're going to try and have some coverage as well. I'll put this up online and get it out and let everyone know what's going to happen and go from there. So, but I think it's going to be a fantastic game and it's going to be fun to watch. And then I think, was that it? Oh no, one more exciting thing. Yes. From the Olympics. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things happening at the Olympics. Erin Jackson is the first Black woman to win a gold medal in speed skating. Now, number one, there's actually a Black person who's doing something cold. I say that because you know how we are about being cold. Yes. But there are a few of us who enjoy watching hockey, or I have a cousin who was a hockey player. He enjoyed the thrill of it and the crashing and, the strategy of moving that puck down the ice. He really enjoyed it. Right. Right. And, there's a lot of good experience. I'll put it like this. I think that Erin Jackson has opened the door and opened people's eyes to the possibility of doing winter sports. Now, I know that there is a lot of expense with doing winter sports because of the equipment and coaching and training and being part of the team. But I think it opens up opportunities that you don't expect young people to be open up to. So I know we joke and kid about being cold and frigid, but if the Jamaican bobsled team can overcome their problems to get a bobsled team to the Olympics, I think African Americans can open the door and walk through to participate more in Winter Olympics besides Summer Olympics. We're all over Summer Olympics, track and field events. I think it's time that we need to see who else can do their best in Winter Olympics. And I think it's wonderful to see. And you just don't think about, when you think roller skating, maybe you want to try speed skating, race around that track and just keep going. And, or, there's that triathlon of where you ski, you shoot, and there's one other thing that they do. But there's all kinds of opportunity in winter sports that people should be looking at, and go from there. So that's it for the chocolate news this week.
Thanks, Andrea, for coming on and discussing all of this good chocolate news.
My pleasure, John. It's always a great fun to see what the next chocolate news is going to be. And, maybe I'll try and get, I know people have been asking for HBCU updates, so I'll try and get a few HBCU updates in there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And remember, you can find more information about today's topics and past podcast episodes on www.thecincinnatiherald.com, the Sesh newsletter, or on our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast app. Our podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, the Facebook mobile app, YouTube, and Google Podcasts. I'm John Alexander Reese, and have a good day.